everyone. It's me, Terry, of the Your Joy podcast. Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is time for another episode of Blanket Bonanza and what I did over the weekend. So, how's everybody doing? I hope that you are all doing well. I hope you had a great weekend this past weekend. So yeah, I went to the Ladies Craft Day and I really enjoyed myself. Yeah, it was fun. Let's see, what did I take to work on? I took the Blanket Bonanza project. I got a really good start on it. Yeah, I'll show it to you in a minute. And what else did I take? I took several things. I also took my cross stitch, the little one that I was working on that had the couple sitting on the beach, but it was all like sepia tones, like brown and cream and white and different shades of all that in between. Anyway, I took that because I've really been wanting to get it finished because I've got a new picture I want to get started but I told myself I could not start it until I got that finished. So I took it to work on and got a good amount done, and not spoiler, I finished it. So I just finished it this afternoon. I need to soak it. I might do a little video. I was thinking maybe I'll do a video of me soaking it and see how that process goes. So yeah, I'm thinking about doing that. But I will show it to you on Thursday. I mean, the finished object, and then the soaking video would just be like an extra video, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I did at the Ladies Craft Day, and so that was fun. I really enjoyed it. That was on Saturday. On Sunday, we went to church, and then we went out to eat. And then after we went out to eat, we went to Sam's and Walmart and got groceries. Came home, put all that stuff away, and so that basically was my weekend. Except, okay, so what had happened was my husband and I had an adventure over the past few days. So the end of last week, I believe, Thursday, I'm trying to remember. I think it was Thursday or Friday, something like that. I was sitting at my desk in the other room, and my desk is up against a wall on one side. And I was sitting there, and all of a sudden I started hearing something. And I was like, what is that? And I looked under the desk. I didn't see anything. I mean, it sounded like something rustling or, some type of critter. And so I looked under the desk, didn't see anything. But then it quit, and I thought, well, maybe that was just a fluke. I don't know. I was thinking maybe I was imagining that, Well, after a little bit, I heard it again, and then it's quit. And then I heard it again. I was like, okay, what is going on? I was getting a little freaked out. And anyway, I kept listening. I thought, well, that sounds like it's in the wall. And I was like, oh no, do we have a mouse in the wall? It sounded like some sort of an animal. And I was like, but it was kind of windy outside, and the leaves are blowing a lot right now. And I thought, well, maybe it's like leaves hitting the roof or the windows or something, making a noise. But, and it would just be off and on, and it would just quit. And then I wouldn't hear it again for a few hours. And then I'd hear it again, and it really sounded like an animal. But nothing huge, because my husband was like, well, maybe the squirrel got in the house or got down into the wall somehow. And I was like, no, I don't think so, because it didn't sound like it was big enough, made a big enough sound to be that big of an animal. And so I was thinking, well, I bet it's a mouse. And my husband went outside. He climbed on the roof. He was looking to see if there was any holes anywhere. He couldn't find anything because he's got the house really sealed up well. And so, he couldn't find a hole where it would be something, would find a way in. And this was going on like all weekend, and just off and on, and then it'd quit, and I wouldn't hear it, but then the next day I'd hear it again. And so anyway, on Sunday when we were home, I was hearing it, And I would get, I was sitting in my chair, which is on wheels, and I kind of scooted my chair up against the wall there because I'm kind of in a corner, And so I put my ear up against the wall, and of course it wouldn't make any noises. It'd stop. But then I was kind of leaning that way like this, and I was listening, but I was kind of looking down, and I was just concentrating and listening. And I happened to look, when I was looking down, I happened to look down on that wall there that was kind of under my desk, where there's an outlet, and there's another hole, outlet type hole, but it's not for plugs, but it was where some cables had come out because we did some wiring, like for the computer and different things. And that opening was closed. Well, there was wires coming through it, and then my husband had put some foam around those cables to hold them still, and that, that's all that was holding it in there. Anyway, I was looking down, listening, and all of a sudden I thought I saw that foam move. And I thought, no, surely. No, I didn't. And so I kept listening, and I told my husband, I think I saw that something move down here. And so I looked again, and I thought, no, maybe my eyes were playing tricks on me. And so I was listening again, and I happened to be, looking, and about that time, that piece of foam moved again. I was like, oh, it moved. There's something behind that, right there in the wall behind that, And so we were thinking, oh my goodness, well, how are we going to catch whatever this is? And so between him and we come up with, I was like, well, what if we have some sort of a container that we could tape, open that up, tape it to the wall, so then it would come into that container. And what if it, and then he was like, well, I got this big jar and we could use that. And so he got this big jar that he had out in the garage, and he got some peanut butter, and he put some peanut butter in the jar at the bottom of it. And then he taped the lid. I mean, he screwed the lid on, but then he had an opening where he had cut in the lid. And then he rolled up a piece of wire, a mesh wire type thing that made it look like a tube, like a paper towel holder tube. And so he had rolled that up, and he stuck that so it was like a tunnel, and it was going into the jar and connected to the wall. And it was all taped up. And then he said, okay, maybe it'll come through there, through the tunnel and into the jar, And he's like, I don't have a mouse trap, so I can't put a mouse trap. But maybe when he gets in the jar, then he can't crawl up the sides of the jar, whatever it is. So we got that all rigged up, and that was Sunday night. And he was like, let's wrap a towel around that, or put a towel on top of that jar so that it would be dark and it wouldn't be real bright, And so we did that. Monday morning, before my husband went to work, he checked the jar. He said it was empty, because he called me later. And I said, did you check the jar? And he's like, yeah, I checked it. There's nothing in there right now. And I was like, okay. And so a few hours later, I was hearing that scratching again in the wall, and sitting there, and I hadn't checked the jar. I was kind of chicken. And so I was sitting there, and I started hearing a different noise. And I thought, well, that sounds like it's rustling, but it sounds like it's not in the wall, but it sounded like it was on glass. And I thought, oh, maybe it's in the jar now. And so, I was afraid to look. I didn't want to uncover that towel to look, but I was like, okay, I've got to. And so I reached down there, and I pulled the towel off. And yeah, there was something in the jar, all right. Wasn't a mouse. Wasn't a snake, thank goodness. But I mean, a snake doesn't have arms and legs, so it wouldn't have done that rustling, right? But it wasn't a mouse, it wasn't a rat, it wasn't a squirrel. And so I was like, oh my gosh. So I took a picture of it, and I just sent the picture to my husband, text message, no caption, just send him the picture. And he saw the picture, and he was like, wow. And so I will insert the picture here, so then you can see Any guesses before I put the picture up what it might have been? Okay, I'll give you a chance. Okay, I'm going to pop a picture in. That was in the jar. Yeah. That is what we call, I don't know its proper name, but we call that in these parts a rusty lizard. Why is, I don't know why it's called rusty. Maybe its tail's got some mark. I don't know. Anyway, we call that a rusty lizard. That fellow was big. I mean, he was probably, you know, with the tail and everything, you know, about so long, but his body was pretty good size, pretty good around, you know. Oh my goodness. And I thought, what if it's going to crawl up in the tube again? And so I got my foot, and because the tube was made out of this mesh wire. So I pushed it with my foot up against the leg of my desk and, you know, mashed it closed, not sealed, but where I felt like, well, he can't get it back up there and go back into the wall again, which I'm sure he probably didn't want to because he was tired of being in that wall. Anyway, so yeah, it's set there in that jar. Oh, my husband was like, okay, well, unscrew it and take it outside and dump him out. You know, I was like, I'm like, nope, I ain't doing it. He's sitting in there until you come home from work. And he did. Oh, I didn't even sit there at the desk. I got my blanket and the thing I was working on, and Teddy and I went over on the couch and did some crocheting and stuff. Left the lizard in the jar by itself over there under the desk. Anyway, husband came home. He got the jar. He unscrewed the jar, put a towel on the top of it. He took it outside, dumped the lizard out next to the bird water area because we figured, well, he's probably thirsty. So he kind of sat there frozen for a while. And but then later my husband checked and he saw him, and he was climbing up the tree. So yeah. Because our bird bath is like right next to this huge tree that we have. And so he climbed up the tree and he went on his merry way. So no lizards were injured in this adventure. Oh my goodness. I never imagined that it was going to be a lizard. I thought for sure it was going to be a mouse. And I was thinking, oh no, whatever this is, it's going to die in there, and then it's going to smell, and it's going to be awful. So I mean, I didn't even think that it was going to come out and go into that jar. I really didn't. I thought, well, this is going to be a long shot, and that it's not going to work. Well, it did. Thank you. So, yes, we got the lizard out, and my husband went ahead and set the trap up again. He said, just in case there's a family. So, anyway, I haven't heard any more. Blessed silence. So, I think it was just the one guy, feller, one little fellow, big fellow. Anyway, he's out. And so that was our adventure for the past 4 or 5 days. Yeah, listening to that. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I thought you would enjoy that. I don't normally have crazy adventures like that, but that one was crazy. So I wanted to share it on here. I hope you were working on a project while I was gabbing. Okay, so we are here for Blanket Bonanza. And so yeah, last week, I rolled the dice. I think it was last week, right? Yeah. Last week I rolled the dice. My Blanket Bonanza project was going to be the V-Stitch Granny, and it's a pattern by Maria's Blue Crayon. I'll link it down below in the description box. So the yarn I decided to use, now I'll pop in a picture. Let me pop in a picture. Here's the picture just off of the website right here. And as you can see, it's stripes, right? Main color of white, and then there was like 3 other colors that she like rotated. So yeah, like that. Well, I thought about doing it that way, but then why did I not? I don't know. Oh, I was looking at other people's projects making that same blanket and see what colors they were using and stuff. And I even saw some people that was using like a self-striped yarn. Somebody had used a mandala cake, and those real bright colors, can't think, gnome, yeah, gnome. Anyway, and I thought, oh, I think I've got some yarn I could use. So I had 3 skeins of this. It is Premier Yarn DK Colors in the colorway Petunia, and it's this. So you have some solid stripes, pinks and purples, but then you got this section here, kind of like Premier Bloom, where it's speckled, which I thought, oh, that's interesting. And so I have 3 of them. And so I went on to the Ravelry, the projects where the girl was used, I guess it was a girl, using the mandala yarn because I wanted to see how many yards she used compared to how many yards I had total of this. 3 cakes. And so I was going to have enough using 3. I think even using 2.5 or something. Anyway, so that's what I decided to use. So my project looks a whole lot different than the one of Maria's Blue Crayon because it's not those solid colors and, you know, all that. But anyway, I think it's pretty. So here is my project, my progress on it, and I've done a lot. And then I'll talk about the ruffling. Anyway, here it is. And as you can see, I've gotten the speckled round. Hold it that way. Yeah. So there it is. There's that speckled round. And now it's going to go into repeat of the colors. And I'm almost finished with the first cake. I've got this much left, so I'm going to finish this and then I'll be starting my next cake. But here it is. Now, it is so soft and so drapey and so squishy, but when you lay it out, as you can see, it is wrinkled. It's ruffled. Yeah, it is ruffled. Now, if I lay it flat and I kind of spread it out and kind of work with it, I can get it where it's laying flat. So that tells me that it would need to be blocked, yeah, in order for it to lay flat. I really think so. Anyway, it's very pretty and I like it. It smells good because what I do with a lot of my yarn back there, I have gotten, I saw somebody else do it. I've gotten dryer sheets, just like Bounce or something, you know, in the little boxes, the little felt, and I think I got it from Dollar Tree. I take those dryer sheets and I stuff them in my yarn here and yonder, you know, here and there, and it makes my yarn smell good. Anyway, I was holding it up. I was like, I smell it. Anyway, so that is the beginning. This is almost my first skein, so I'll continue on with it. And it didn't really matter to me that it's roughly, because I was thinking I'm not going to pull it out and try to fix it or whatever. But I think if I blocked it in the end, I think that would probably fix it. But I think it's interesting. There is just V-stitches. You can see that. You can see it in that dark red, sort of. Yeah, V-stitches. Yeah. And so that's the front. And then look at the back. It's got a texture. See that kind of texture? Very interesting. So it looks kind of cool from the back or the front. Okay. So that is my progress. It's going really fast. Those V-stitches are really easy. And, yeah, it's just a one round repeat. You just keep doing the same thing. And so I'm just going around and around, you know? So, yeah. Now, but I am joining. You can see where my join is. I'm trying to see it in the, where did I start the round? You can't really tell unless I'm in a different color change. Yeah, right. I think right there, maybe there's a jog up. Anyway, yeah, I am joining each round. But instead of slip stitching to the corner and starting there each round, I'm just kind of going into the next V-stitch, chaining up 4 actually, and completing my V-stitch, and then going on. So my join is like down here somewhere. It's not even in the corner. But really, you can't even find it, you know, very much. So, which is very nice. Oh, here it is. Yeah, here it is. See that little part that's going up right there? So you can kind of see there is kind of a join there. You can kind of see, but not really. So I'm very happy with it. Okay, so that is my blanket bonanza. It's coming along pretty fast. Let's see, what else I've been working on today? Well, today I was finishing up that cross stitch because I wanted to finish it up so bad because I have a new one I want to start that's got lots of colors in it. I'm kind of tired of doing all those neutral colors. So, yes, I couldn't wait to start this new one. It's got 75 different colors, and I'm really going to enjoy it. So I'll be showing you that too, because I've already started just a little bit. Okay. Worked on that. I made my third beanie for my preemie hats. And see, I've got the eyes and everything. So I've got the beanie. All I need to do is go in there and sew the eyes and the beak on and do the little top knot thingy like this. And then I'll have my third hat done. And then tonight I will probably make like another Mickey hat or something. And that will get my 4, because today is the last day of March. So I definitely going to do that this evening. You know, finish them up this evening. And that's probably it. Oh, I've been working on the Dragonfly shawl, which is my Cubbyhole Challenge yarn, and it's coming along pretty quick. I mean, it's growing pretty fast, and it's got a kind of a long, what is it, got a 6-row repeat or 5 or 6 row repeat or something like that to get the Dragonfly image in there. But it's working up pretty fast. You know, I'm progressing well on it. So that's it. So, yeah, tomorrow is April the 1st. It's also the start of VEDA, Video Every Day in April. And I thought about doing it. I got a message from Ella. She's going to be doing it, of No Catchy Name Crochet. And she asked me if I was going to be doing it. And I was thinking, well, let me think about it. I hadn't really thought that I would do it. But, yeah, I really don't think I can do it. Put that on me right now. You know, got fluff or something. So yeah, I probably won't do VEDA. I really would like to, but I'm just not up for it right now, I don't think. But I will be watching Ella's of No Catchy Name. Be watching her videos for it. So, that's about it, I guess, for today. I just wanted to tell you our adventures of the lizard. And I'm glad it's out of the house. And so I am going to go. I need to go in there and edit this video so you can be seeing it. And let's see, no video tomorrow. Thursday, episode 445, I think that's right, will be coming out. And I'll have things to show you, more things to show you then. So, yeah, that's it. Have a great evening, great Tuesday evening. Hope your week is going well so far. Hope you have a great middle of the week Wednesday for tomorrow. And come back on Thursday. We'll have another visit then. And yeah, we'll see you then in the next video. Bye.